okay, I want to learn how to navigate difficult situations in a way where I actually benefit from them, in a way where I actually use them, kind of like a process of alchemy. You know, you're turning shit into gold. And my contention is that life is giving you this shit for you to actually turn it into gold. What's up, guys? I'm going to do a short video here on difficult situations and how to navigate difficult situations, or at least what I'm learning about how to navigate difficult situations that I'd like to share. So unless you're an alien watching this and like tuning in to YouTube from like another dimension, and you're like, fucking, I'm an alien and I can tune into whatever dimension, let me check out YouTube on planet Earth because it's pretty like cool. Unless you're an alien, you're probably a human watching this, which means that you know very well that life is full of difficult situations, and life is going to continue to be full of difficult situations for the rest of our lives. And often what we do as humans is, maybe as an alien you're like, why the fuck do you do that? But as humans, what we do is we tend to, it's as if we resent these difficult situations, almost as if we resent life for giving us these difficult situations. And then something happens which we don't want to happen, and we enter into kind of like a negativity cloud, and we resent it, and we're like, fuck's sake, and then we kind of spiral a little bit, and we take actions based on that mindset. Maybe the alien right now is like, man, like, you guys need to chill and stuff, you know. But that's how many of us respond or react usually to difficult situations. They're going to be a part of our lives for the rest of our lives. So I want to make this video because I think it's really important to learn how to navigate difficult situations in an empowering way, in a way that benefits us. Because the alternative is, otherwise life looks like this. Life's going pretty well, and then boom, something happens, because it always will. There'll always be something on different scales, right? Sometimes it's just a little small thing in your day, but something every once in a while, something big happens in your life. So you're going through life, everything's kind of cool, and then boom, something happens. And if you don't learn how to gracefully navigate difficult situations, every time you have something difficult happens, it's kind of as if you could say you're kind of progressing in the game of life, and then every time something difficult happens, you're kind of going down a bit. You go down, your progress in the game goes down, your happiness, your peace goes down, and it doesn't have to necessarily. And basically, since these things are always going to happen throughout our lives, if we take the time and think, okay, I want to learn how to navigate difficult situations in a way where I actually benefit from them, in a way where I actually use them, kind of like a process of alchemy. You know, you're turning shit into gold. And my contention is that life is giving you this shit for you to actually turn it into gold. It just doesn't say it to you. It doesn't say like, you know, you're getting fired right now, and the reason you're getting fired, Albert, is because, you know, you've had this dream to start your own thing for a while, and you had the safety of your job, so now I'm going to get you fired, because then you'll realize I have nothing to lose, which you never did, by the way. But now you'll really be aware of it, and you'll start your thing. It doesn't say it like that. It just gives you the shit, and it's kind of like, it's like gold. It's like a gold bar wrapped in shit. Like that's something Kerwin Ray, this motivational speaker, he used that analogy. Life will give you gold wrapped in shit, and people take it and they're like, what the fuck is this shit, and they throw it away. But really, underneath the shit is gold, if you choose to respond in a way where you're kind of metaphorically cleaning off that shit and getting the gold, if you're alchemizing the situation. So let's get into what I've learned, what I'm learning about how to navigate these difficult situations. So first of all, a really important thing that I'm learning is, when difficult situations happen, what I used to do is I would I would feel it. I'd feel negativity in my head, like negative thoughts and like uncomfortable feelings. And I'd be like, man, this is really uncomfortable. Let me go do something so I don't feel this way. I would distract myself and I'd escape this, or I'd try to escape the situation. And I've had many examples now in my life to show me that's not a good idea. That's futile, and it's self-destructive. And if we follow the game analogy, you're going way down where you don't need to. And so what I'm learning to do is, when these things happen, first of all, realize you don't have any control over what just happened, because it just happened. And unless you've developed some like fucking magical powers, you can't change the past. So it happened, so you can't change it. And maybe it's something that's ongoing. And while you do have influence over the situation, you can do things to get yourself where you want to go. Ultimately, you can't control the situation. So I'd say the first step is realize you don't have any control over that. And just realize that I have no control over this. Secondly, tune into yourself, connect with yourself, because that will be the opposite of what your body will tell you to do. It will try to make you escape. And I'd say connect with yourself. A lot of these difficult situations can be triggers. So we all have our own stuff, right? And so we get triggered throughout the day, sometimes small, sometimes big. And the natural human tendency is to run away from the trigger because it feels uncomfortable. But just to give a quick analogy, it's kind of like you have a tank of energy, and when you suppress emotion, you're not getting rid of it, you're putting it in a tank in your body, kind of thing. And the more energy is suppressed into that tank, the more reactive you'll be, the more negative you'll feel, the heavier you'll feel in general, and it's harming your body as well. So every time you're triggered, it's actually an opportunity to empty that tank. And the more empty that tank is, the healthier you are, the better, the more happy you will be naturally and spontaneously. And so the first thing you want to do, if it's like a trigger, is connect with yourself. Because as you're connecting with yourself, you're connecting with that energy. It's the connection, it's your connection to that energy that allows it to release. As you connect with how you feel, with those uncomfortable feelings, you are emptying the tank. So that's number 2, is connect with yourself. Connect with yourself. Allow that energy to be. And you find calm when you do that. It's kind of like the eye of the storm. You're experiencing some shit just happened, and it's like a storm internally, and you connect with it because inside the eye of the storm there is calm, there's peace inside the eye of the storm. So you want to connect with yourself. That's number 2. Number 3 is ask yourself empowering questions, and not just to be positive. Ask yourself questions because you are the captain of your soul. You are the one directing your life. So act like it. Be the captain of your soul. Be the director of your life. And the way you do that, one of the ways you do that, is by asking yourself intentional questions. So some shit just happened. Okay. You could choose to ask yourself a question many people do, which is, why is this shit happening to me? But that's not going to help you. So one of the questions you can ask yourself is, what am I learning from this? If life was bestowing this to me as a gift, what would it be trying to teach me? Because often, as you know, the best way that you learn is through pain. The best way you learn is through discomfort. It's kind of like when you put your hand on a hot stove as a child, you learn, okay, I won't do that again. And we get that through life. When difficult things happen, they can be a great way for us to learn because it's painful and we want to avoid pain. But we're not necessarily going to take that lesson unless we recognize the lesson. If we're just resenting and we're like, fuck this shit, why the fuck did this happen? Then you know that in that state of mind, you're not going to be learning as much as if you're like, okay, this definitely fucking feels uncomfortable, this sucks. At the same time, what am I learning from this? What did I learn from this mistake? Or what did I learn from this failure? What did I learn? Let me make sure I don't do it again, right? So what did I learn? What did I learn? That's one of the questions you can ask yourself is, what am I learning from this? Or what did I learn from this? And another question is, what is the absolute best thing I can do out of this situation? So if we look at this situation as an opportunity, because crisis in the Chinese language, the symbol for crisis, half of it is problem, and half of it is opportunity. It's problem, opportunity, and that's what a crisis is. John Demartini says, wisdom is the instantaneous recognition that a crisis is a blessing, and that's what the opportunity can be, your blessing. So when something happens, ask yourself, if this was a gift, kind of lost my train of thought there. So what's the opportunity here? What is the opportunity here? And because if you don't ask yourself the question, you likely won't see it, because you'll see it as a problem. There's a crisis happening. It's not good, it's not bad, it's got both components. And you see it happening, and the mind will naturally label it as a problem, obviously, because that's what it looks like. So if you see it like that, you are far less likely to extract the benefits that you could if you were like, okay, I can see that's a problem. What's the opportunity here? So that's another question you can ask yourself. What is the opportunity here? What could I benefit from in this situation, in this difficult situation? How can I benefit from this? So that about wraps up what I wanted to say, is that difficult situations are going to be there for the rest of your life. So you can choose to resent them every time they happen, or you can choose to actually develop the skill of navigating difficult situations. I think that makes more sense, because you're going to encounter them all your life. So imagine if a little bit of time in the future, you're like, man, I'm like way better at navigating difficult situations. There are still some situations, I'm sure, that I wouldn't know how to navigate very well now. But if I compare myself to the past, I can navigate them much better. So great, I'm on the right track. Let's keep developing this skill, because we learn different skills, right? Like riding a bike, and then we learn skills like singing or something, or whatever we like. But there are other skills like these meta skills, I guess, that are like super applicable to life and super helpful. And one of them is navigating difficult situations. So they're going to be there for the rest of your life. And I say, get good at navigating them, because you're going to navigate life way better. You're going to be a far more skilled sailor, if you will, even when there are rough seas, because they're going to be rough seas, because you're on the ocean. So learn to navigate difficult situations better, because they're gonna come back again and again and again. And there's always an opportunity in the crisis. There's always an opportunity in the problem. And that's it. Good luck.